Hi, I'm Giselle. Today we are talking about buying and selling businesses. I am an ex-financial planner and now investor. So today we are experiencing the biggest transfer of wealth through generations that, the world has ever seen. Baby boomers want to sell their business, they want to retire, they have other priorities. And for instance, you could be the one buying those businesses and having ownership of those businesses. Actually, what people don't say, but the easiest way to wealth is owning real estate, owning businesses, owning shares in businesses. So if you are an owner, you have much more control of your financial freedom. But in case you already have a business, buying a business is also the easiest and quickest way to scale your business and to double down on your valuation. And why would I share this knowledge here for free? Well, easy. I want deals to keep coming to me. So by sharing this knowledge, people will probably get to know me and they can reach out to me, and then I can guarantee this deal flow, and I can guarantee that things keep running for me as well. So first of all, how do I actually buy a business? People imagine that there must be a lot of cash down such a transaction, and that the person buying the business actually has loads and loads of money. Well, that's often the case, but not always the case, especially if we are talking about businesses that are not so big. Yeah, we're not talking about multinational companies here. We're talking about business that are small to medium sized. They generally are, let's say, what we consider boring businesses. They are not businesses that are on TikTok. They could be, for example, air conditioning companies, or, well, laundromats is another good example. So those service-based businesses that we know it's necessary in our day-to-day lives, mechanical shops, for example, those businesses, they are generally owned by boomers. Boomers own 40 to 50% of those businesses, at least in the US. And what I want to tell you is there is a way to acquire those businesses, to negotiate with those owners without, a lot of cash down. What people don't understand is that this is like an acquisition. And this is a deal that you make with another person. And the deal is a structure in many ways. And you can get as creative as you would like to. So for example, you could potentially offer a down payment to the founder. And it could be like a percentage of the total value. You could also offer to the founder to buy the business in installments or deferred payments. This is another portion, right? So let's say that you are creating a deal structure in which you give a percentage cash down, a percentage installments, another percentage equity, which means that the founder would still keep some ownership in the business. And it depends. There are many ways that it could go. And if you want to get creative, I provide a template in my bio, so you can actually learn a bit more on how to structure a deal. It's also important to notice that to structure such a deal, you need to create rapport with the person that is willing to sell the business, right? So really negotiate, create the rapport, establish the relationship, and then you'll be able to negotiate the payment structure with this founder. Another very important thing to mention is you probably see a lot of gurus saying that you can actually buy a business with no money down, and that's not actually how it works. Those gurus are basically talking about distressed businesses, and distressed business, they have a negative valuation, which means that they will not sell for anything because they are not really generating profits. And you can actually offer a no money down transaction to buy a distressed business, but you need to be careful. You need to know what you are doing. Yeah, imagine that you're gonna take a company that has no profit, but that employs maybe hundreds of people. We don't want to be messing around with those jobs. So only do distressed deals if you know what you are doing. Yeah, it's much better if you buy a business that is healthy, that has been running for years, and that founder of the business is actually motivated to sell the business. I mentioned the person wants to retire, maybe they have some personal challenges, maybe they want to dedicate themselves and their lives to other businesses. It could be, but it needs to be a motivated seller. And then when I say, okay, you should go out there and buy businesses, immediately what people would do is they would go on Google and they would just search for business for sale. And this is not how it works. You should not be sourcing business for sale on buying and selling websites, because those businesses, they are there for a reason, right? The founder has already checked out mentally from that business. They don't want it anymore. They have put it for sale. And this will be, businesses that are online for sale. They are generally a cash game. So whoever gives more will actually have that business. And this is not what we want. We don't want a money game. We don't want, for example, intermediates like brokers that generally drag the deal down, and because they want their commission. What we want is a motivated seller that has not yet published their business for sale, and we want to do a deal with that seller. So don't go online searching for business to buy. And then you can ask me, but how do I source those motivated sellers? Yeah, it sounds like how am I supposed to find them? Well, basically, there are many ways. So nowadays there are some databases online that you could use to source those deals. So let's take, for example, Indole in the UK or Apollo.io in the US. You could actually use those databases to get the email or the phone number of founders, and you could reach out to them directly. This will also work on LinkedIn, right? You can just reach out to people directly and ask if they want to sell their business. And there are many ways that you could structure this message, right? And just send to them. Just be you, be authentic, and again, establish a rapport, a relationship with the person so you can actually start negotiating. Why you search in those databases is if you are looking for, let's say, boring business in a specific industry, you look for that industry. Then you will, of course, let's say, look for businesses that are older than 10 years, because if the business has been alive for 10 years, probably the founder know what they're doing. And if they know what they're doing, then the business is probably healthy. And of course, that's a guess and needs to be analyzed case by case, but that's a possibility. There are other, let's say, other filters that you could use on those databases, but you can, let's say, explore and just reach out. So the secret is action. Reach out to people, and then you will find those motivated sellers. Okay, so we already spoke about structuring the deal so you can actually pay for it, and we also talked about sourcing those motivated sellers, right? The third step, and actually it's not in the actual order that it happens here, but you should value the business first, right? So you can structure the deal. And think about it. To structure the deal, you need to know how much the business is worth. So you need to value the business. You need to have a valuation for that business. And here in this other video, I explained how you can actually value a business. Just watch it. It's short, in less than a minute. You can get it right and calculate it yourself, or you can use online tools. I have left here in the description some links which you can use to calculate the valuation. And again, if you have valued the business, but you are not very confident on structuring it, you don't have the full amount to pay the owner and you want to negotiate, but you are not as creative as you should be, then in my bio, you can actually get a template for the deal structure. It is for free. And then you just use that to negotiate with the founder and close your deal. Next, after you have agreed on the valuation, you have already structured the deal, the founder has already agreed to your terms, and of course, now it's time to structure the legal agreement. But to structure the legal agreement, it is actually important that you structure that together with the founder. So you both can create, let's say, a contract that has all of the terms and conditions for you to buy a business and pay for it, yeah? Including the transition, yeah? What was the support that you are expecting to get from that founder? It's probably, let's say, an industry that you have no knowledge of. You want to get into that industry. The founder is leaving the business, but they have all of the knowledge. This is something that you want to retain, yeah, that knowledge, so you can actually establish a transition period with the founder, so you can learn from them, and then they will leave the business. That's, let's say, a planned exit. Another thing very important is that when doing the legal structure, you use an SPV to buy the business, which is a sales purpose vehicle. You not do it in your own name, right? We don't want the business liability to come into our personal name. So we will first register a company. This company will be our SPV. It will be, let's say, a limited liability company. Depending on where you are on the planet, it could be an LTD, LLC, and so on. And you use that to buy the company. And then you are protected from the business liability. You agree on terms with the founder, and you have two options here after this contract is ready. You just register it, and well, you could also ask for an attorney to review it and to register the contract for you, or you could do it yourself. I prefer doing it myself. I don't like involving any brokers or lawyers into the deal, as I believe they drag down the deal. It takes a lot of time, and I prefer establishing the rapport and the trust with the founder. We do the legal agreement together, we register it in the notary together, and then the deal is closed. And I have also in my bio a template that you could use to get this legal agreement, the legal agreement that I use. So feel free to download it. But then you could tell me, you could say, Giselle, I already have a business, so I want to sell the business. Fine. If you want to sell your business, you can actually do things the same way I just said, but on reverse, right? If you want to sell your business fast, you should reach out to people who are on the same industry, who have businesses with synergy with your own business, so you can sell the business to them. And the same way you reached out to buy the business and find those motivated sellers, you will find motivated buyers. You'll find buyers that want to double their company valuation, that want to expand their product line, and business that have synergy. If you want to sell your business, there is another video that I made which describes why you will not sell your business. If you fall into one of those 5 problems, please fix them first before you go selling your business, or your business valuation will be low. And we don't want that. We want to sell the business for the highest valuation possible, fix the business, find the motivated buyer, and then you can close the deal with them, right? It's just doing things on reverse here, the same purpose. But now, let's say, Giselle, I have followed your step by step, I have acquired the business, but I don't know what to do with this. Well, If you are new to an industry, new to a business, of course, there are many things you could do. Yeah, it's very exciting to have a new business into your hands. You can learn about it, you can expand, you can scale, you can find synergies, and it all depends on how you execute things. It could be that you want to reduce the costs so you get more profit. It could be that you want to expand the product line or the service line, find complementary businesses, so on and so forth. Scaling is actually a very big topic. And there is a series of videos that I made on scaling your business that you could also watch. Just to stay tuned. I hope that with this tutorial, you can actually go sell and buy business, build in your financial freedom, or scale your business. I know it's hard for business owners to scale. They generally reach a plateau and they get stuck, but there are ways that you can try, and buying and selling business is actually a very powerful way to do it. And please hit me, drop me a comment. You can also talk to me through my link bio, through consultations. And well, I hope that this tutorial has helped you, and happy to talk soon. See you next time.